I'll just put up the presentation now, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Adriano, you just need to enable my screen sharing, please. All right, now we're live. Hello, everyone. Namaste. Good morning to Brazil. Good afternoon to India. It is a great pleasure to welcome you here today to our event, Reflections on India-Brazil Container Tradelane, Auspicious Wind Ahead. So thank you all for joining, okay? We have just gone live now on YouTube. And the purpose of our discussion today is to bring a little content about the reality of maritime logistics between India and Brazil, and also understand what are some of the future perspectives we have for those logistics. So this is an event organized by Unimar and Multiseas, Ltda, Hyundai Merchant Marine, and the India-Brazil Chamber of Commerce. It is a great pleasure to welcome you all. My name is Natalia Rodrigues. I'm Manager of Commercial and Institutional Relations at the India-Brazil Chamber of Commerce, and I'll be moderating our talk here today. And I have here with us our 4 distinguished speakers, which I'll present to you right now. So we have here with us Mr. Devdutt Ant, Deputy Manager of HMM, also Mrs. Tatiane Oliveira, Assistant Manager of HMM. Also here with us, Mr. Mário Nascimento, Line Manager of Multiseas, and Mr. Imaire Silva, Commercial Manager of Ltda. So thank you everyone for joining, and I would ask our speakers here to also greet you. So Mr. Devdutt, would like to start, please?
Hello, good morning, my friends from Brazil, and good evening from friends from India. I am Devdutt Amte. I am part of a trade team. I head the trade team which is situated in Mumbai, India, which takes care of India, Pakistan, and Sri Lanka. And we are also very excited to share with you on the developments that are gonna happen on the India-Brazil trade lane. And with this, let us continue our discussion and webinar. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Devdutt. Mrs. Tatiane?
Good morning for my colleagues in Brazil. Good evening, my colleagues in India. It's a real pleasure to be here representing HMM Brazil. I am assistant manager and work as pricing here. So we are really happy to bring this subject discussion and to show everybody what is coming ahead.
Great news coming. Thank you, Mrs. Tatiani. Now, Mr. Mario.
Hello, namaste. Good morning, everyone. My name is Mario Nascimento, and I'm the Multiseas line manager for HMM, based in São Paulo. So Multiseas is a shipping agency, which belongs to the Unimar group, and is the general agent for HMM, being responsible for all the commercial activities in Brazil. So it's a pleasure to be here discussing about this important trade in Brazil. And I do expect to have a very fruitful discussion and be able to show you that we indeed have good winds ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mario. Now, Mr. Imaire, please go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. Namaste. Thank you for your participation and joining this webinar with us. We are looking forward to very good discussions on this very brand new services. I'm the commercial manager for Logitrade, which is the freight forwarding from the Unimar group. So thank you again for your participation and looking forward for further discussions. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all for joining and thanking you in advance for the content you'll be sharing here today. So before we start, I'll just have two short remarks for our audience. First of all, regarding any questions that you have during the whole program, please do feel free to share them in the chat, okay? Our team will be looking for your questions. We are gonna have a first session, will be a very dynamic session. I'll be putting the questions and our speakers will be answering each one of them. And at the end, we will have a Q&A session when we will bring the questions that you have shared in the chat, in the YouTube chat. So for us to start, I would like to put our first question here. And I will request Mr. Devdutt to start answering that one. Can you update us about the scenario of Indian cargoes that are shipped to Brazil nowadays? How is the matter of space available inside ships? Does congestion on the hub ports remain an issue?
Okay, thanks, Natalia. Basically, let me just brief you about how the India-Brazil trade is. Basically, India-Brazil, they have a preferential trade agreement along with few other Latin countries. And also, Brazil is a trade partner of India right from the year it got independence in 1947. So it is one of the oldest trade partners that we have, and it is a privilege to do trade with them. But somehow it is not clicking, or it is not achieving those heights of the multitude that we are talking about with the other trade partners. Maybe the reasons for those could be the distance or the languages or other issues. Probably, but now we are looking forward to increase the participation in the trade side with Brazil, both in services and products, as well as on a political level as well. So regarding the trade agreement, we already had some 452 products that have been sanctioned by the Brazil government for the Indian products, I meant, which have a preferential and beneficial agreement, which has been shared between two countries. So though we still have, we still have that lacking, or the scope to improvement is still there. So the trade-wise, overall trade-wise, this is the scenario. Whereas you can see, like I mentioned, the distance is one of the factors. So probably because of the distance, the services calling from India to Brazil are not, not as desirable as the trade demands. The given the volume, or given the overall supply and demand, the services or the trade routes are not as competitive as we require it. So of course, as you rightly mentioned, because of that, there are space constraints, because most of the trade lanes are dominated from the Far East side or the Europe side are already full. So India to Brazil, it is on a secondary priority. It comes on a secondary this thing to have the route, to have the volume, basically. How do I say, the volume prioritized. So the space wise, the situation is tough, and but congestion wise, as also you have said, congestion, I would not say Indian ports are congested on as severely as Singapore or Colombo, for that matter, the major transshipment hubs. But we really look forward to have this space situation, eased up with our surprise gift that we're gonna unveil in due course. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. David. And the matter that you mentioned about the trade agreements having to be expanded, that's something that we hear from the whole industry, to be able to get to have more, also get more space on the ships, and be a matter of enhancing the trade between the two countries. Now, Mr. Imare, would like to comment on that topic too?
Yes. Well, from the point of view from the space situation, I just would like to highlight that we always emphasize to our customers that to avoid any kind of delays on their shipments, we basically ask them to try to anticipate their forecast as much as they can. So basically, as for example, when they have an idea about cargo readiness, for them to start working with their forwarder, or even the shipping lines that they work with, to anticipate and basically to try to suffer as less as they can, I would say, because and for this anticipation, we are talking about a couple of weeks or even 20 days, to make sure they can accomplish their planning, as well as have their cargo loaded. So basically, this is something that I would like to highlight, and I think it's really important for everyone to have their planning ongoing.
See, and moving on to understand a little bit better how this maritime logistics is working, can you tell us how container services are linking India to Brazil today in more detail? Mr. Mario, perhaps you could start answering that one.
Sure, Natalia. Well, at this moment, as you can see in the graph, you have India Brazil being importing from India for by three different ways. It's via Mediterranean, which is about 80% of the total volume, if you take 2021 as a reference, via Europe and via Far East. Okay, so in terms of transit times, we have Mediterranean, which is the biggest one, as I told you, goes from 36 to 49 days. North Europe from 41 to 50 days, and via Far East 33 to 58 days. So it's good to highlight that most of the volumes being shipped out of India is being used in the Suez Channel, So 86% of the total volume. Can you imagine that's a huge volume? It's basically majority of the volume. Taking this 2021 as a reference. And while Far East, it's about close to 10%. Okay, so comparing the service offered from India to Brazil, we have some interesting figures also to show you. So from 2010, you used to have 19 carriers doing this trade, okay? And now, 2021, only 12 carriers doing that. Of course, it has to do with a lot of mergings and acquisitions we had along this period. But what's important to see is that the volume, 80% of the volume, between 80% and 78%, is concentrated in 5 top carriers only. Okay, so it's something interesting to be shown here. So far here, Brazil has imported up to September almost 78,000 TEUs from India. And we are expecting, if the trade follows, to finish closer to 100,000 TEUs. So it's a huge volume we have from India to Brazil. It's a very representative one.
And it's just growing, right? And we're still concentrated in the same lines. Mrs. Tatiana, would you like to comment on that too?
Sure. As we all know, container is one of the most efficient way to move cargoes around the world, right? So it's really important that we understand those figures explained by Mario, because in a market like we live, for example, nowadays we don't live like just considering 1 or 2 countries, right? We have worldwide connections and agreements. And specifically talking about India, we know how the agreement between the countries, Brazil and India, is really important to our people, right? And then the container is kind of solution. That's why knowing that the market is growing, it's important, because then, for example, if we believe, or if we see, sorry, that some cargoes are coming from India via Suez, we have to understand the risk we have with congestions and with the carriers that doesn't bring this quick as possible, because of course all the companies are facing issues with the congestion. So understanding the figures and the issue that we are facing around the world, we need to also see how the container can be a solution to move these cargoes in and out from the countries, right?
Perfect. It makes perfect sense. And looking ahead, for us to understand a little bit better, we're talking about the raising demand that we have between the trade commercial relations between India and Brazil, and exactly to understand a little deeper, how was the growth of Indian exports to Brazil over the last years, and looking ahead, what are your expectations for the future? So, Mr. Mario, if you would like to start with that one.
Sure. If you can change the slides, you can show the tennis. Yeah. So if you see here, the India subcontinent, it's a growing market since 2010. With the exception of 2016, when the market was not good, in 2020 due to the pandemics. It's a growing market. This year, up to September, we have loaded 77,000 TEUs, which gives us an average of 8,600 TEUs per month. And as I told you before, if you continue in this trade, this trend, sorry, we'll be ending close to 100,000 TEUs. So in spite of it, it's a booming market, but we continue to have these bottlenecks in terms of transshipment problems. You know, some customers are complaining about the cargoes which are not the transshipment as it should be at destination, causing some delays to them here in Brazil. Okay, but this graph also shows the concentration. Again, I want to highlight from this 77,000, about 80% was via Mediterranean and Black Sea. Okay, and if you add North Europe, which is also done via Suez Channel, we have 86%, while in the last option here we have is the Far East, which represents about 90% of the cargo, India cargo transshipped to Brazil. So we have in this graph we have a good visibility how the market trend is for almost 12 years already.
And it's impressive when we see the numbers. We have a raising number more than 10 times, and the infrastructure is still the same, right? Basically, if we talk about the channels that we have available.
It is. So if you compare with 2010, in 2021, we have up to September, we have doubled the volume, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's very, very impressive. And specifically about the cargoes, what are the main commodities imported from India to Brazil nowadays? Mr. Imaire, would you like to answer that one?
Yes, sure. But before talking about the commodity, I would like to highlight that even though we could see the double of the volume, you could see also on a previous slide that even though the volume it's close to 100%, it's good to emphasize that the number of shipping lines has reduced. So we all know about the mergers in the market, right? So which is good for some, but not very good to others. So basically, we face this kind of situation as well because of all the mergers that the market absorbed, and we used to have more players 10 years ago that we do not have anymore. So basically, this is something that I would like to highlight and share with everyone. So if we could come back to the commodities, please. I remember really well when I had the opportunity to visit India 11 years ago. And at that time, we used to have as the main commodities produced in the Indian country, which were the IT, the technology was really, really powerful, auto parts, and the pharmaceutical products. As we can see now on these both pizzas graphs, you can see how many new commodities India has been producing, as for example, textiles, which is responsible for almost 20%, which is, as I said, 11 years ago, we couldn't see it. So it's amazing how India country has been developing all different commodities, which is also linked with this incredible growth when we talk about the number of TUs on the previous slides we could already see. So basically, it's all shared and showing right there the importance of the textiles, the chemicals, vehicles, then others than the railway, as well as rubber products and machinery being the main ones. So basically, it's really surprising on how they could produce so many different commodities and shipping it to in this case Brazil, but also worldwide. Coming to the right side and talking about the reefer containers, then we have almost 58% dedicated to the pharma products. And then a few more commodities, as for example, cocoa and as well as organosulfur. So basically, it also shows the flexibility as well as the how many different products can be produced in India, and ship it right here to Brazil. So basically something that it can be surprised to a lot of people in this webinar, as well as it went for me. But it's also linked to the country growth as well as the volume growth as we have seen. So these are my comments. Thank you.
Yeah. It also shows how diverse the India market is. Huh? Yeah, it's very important to see this by container type.
Exactly.
And Brazil has understood this diversification we have in the Indian market, and it's importing much more over the years, and expectation is the growth that we have just seen. So considering this whole scenario that we have, the raising demand, diversifying of the trade relations, and with the channels, the same channels that we have 10 years ago, with limited players in the market due to the historical that you have shared with the mergers and acquisitions and all, I would like to understand, I mean, it's clear the concerns that are posed here, considering that we don't have a match between the demand and the offers of good logistics for all, right? So I would like to understand what are then the auspicious news we have here today? What is the solutions that we're looking ahead? What is this? What are those wins, auspicious wins that we have ahead? So Davdet and Tatiani, please feel free to comment on that one. Let me go over here.
Sure. Okay, so now that we understand a little bit better how the Indian market to Brazil works, and we saw a lot of challenges, right, that our customers are facing now, like congestions, transshipments, waiting time, and also we see how India commodities coming to here, Brazil, are diversified now, volume doubled, and we as HMM were thinking about all this scenario and how to help our customers, right? Because when we see an opportunity to help our customers, we also act. Then that's how FIL can come as a solution. So what is FIL? Far East Asia, India, Latin America, right? So it's our brand new service from India to Brazil. And as we can see in the next slide, we have a very good routing coming from Asia side down to East Coast South America. So it's important to see that we have one of the main important ports in India, which is called Kattupalli. Then Mr. Dev is going to explain better about the India services, etc. But talking about the routing, how the cargo is coming from India to here, it's quite good to see the map and to realize how the services are good opportunity for our customers, considering that the cargo is going to come directly, not via any other port. Then we can see the westbound routing, which will be from Busan, Shanghai, Ningbo, Shikoh, so China ports, then Singapore, India, Durban, coming to East Coast South America, back to Asia. So in the next slide, we are going to see the ports, the name of the ports and terminals, also the berth window, when the vessel is going to arrive, departure, and we highlighted India, as we are seeing a lot of opportunities, right, with this increase of volumes during the years. So Kattupalli is here with the terminal, Kattupalli International Container Terminal name. Then we have the ports in Brazil, also Argentina, Uruguay, and back to the Asia. Next slide, we can see something really important and good for us, because as per what we've learned in this webinar, well commented by my colleagues here, the transit time is something that can make our competitive better, right? So when a customer contacts us and the customer see how we are fast moving cargoes from India to Brazil, compared with what we have in the market, right? The solution we are bringing, this product we are bringing is really, really good. H&M is a very good company bringing this kind of service because we are thinking out of box, right? It's the only service that we have from India coming here directly. So the transit time, for example, to Santos is reaching 24 days. It's really amazing because then customer can plan in a better way how to program everything, and considering also that we are already coming from India after Chinese and other ports, we are not going to face any other congestion, you know, so this is kind of a risk that customer is going to avoid using this service. So it's really a good solution. It's good wins coming because we see how this product can help customers to plan, to do, and to bring the good quality for their companies too.
It's great to hear that. I mean, it's a direct route, it's another route, and the time, when we look at the time, the impact is even bigger. So congratulations for developing that solution. And I think we have a little bit more details about it, right? So Mr. David, please feel free to comment on that one.
Yeah, I think Tatian has covered a lot of details about this service, and I think I will only be a parrot repeating the same thing what she has said. Yes, exactly. This is the only service from India connecting to Brazil. Particularly the Katupalli port is better known as Chennai. Katupalli is also a terminal, but people know it as a Chennai port, you know. So it's one of the biggest ports in South India, and the connectivity is from Katupalli direct to Brazil. And if Natalia, if you can go back to the previous slide, I just wanted to make one point. No, previous to this. Yeah, here if you can see the arrival at Katupalli is Wednesday. The window is Wednesday, Thursday. So we have particularly changed it just to keep it in a midweek so that all the custom clearance and everything should be done in a timely manner, and there should be no delays because of custom holidays or something like that. So that window is also quite a selling point for us. It's a USP that it's a midweek window, and the container movement, the transportation, the custom house can be done within that. And of course, like Tatian has highlighted, 24 days is the fastest transit time from any Indian port into Brazil that we are going to offer right now. Moving on to the ports, and I'll just brief on what is the connectivity, because now you're seeing only Katupalli on the map. So okay, India has got so many ports, so only Katupalli connectivity is there. So I'm going to answer to that as well. So from Katupalli, we have connections from Navasheva, that is Mumbai, and Mundra. We have our own CIX vessel, which will connect our cargoes to Katupalli. And along with that, we have Cochin, Krishnapatnam, Vizag, Cochin on the southern side, Vizag on the eastern side, Kolkata, Vizag, Krishnapatnam. These three ports will be feedered on the feeder via Katupalli. So almost, if you can see, all of the area, all of the ports are being covered. So it is like whole of the India can load via Katupalli. So this is how our plan is. And if you see on the, I'll take you through the ICD slides as well later on. But this is the service network that we have. So connecting majority of the ports volume via Katupalli. So we do not need to transship at Singapore or Colombo or Damietta or wherever. So it's just that one single transshipment at Katupalli from our own service and the dedicated feeders that we have. So your transit time is assured. Yeah. So on the next slide, if we see, this is the hinterland region. So India has got a lot of ICDs, inland container depots, which we say, and those are connected predominantly by rail to the gateway port. So in India, Delhi, if you can see the Delhi, which is the capital, that national capital region, if you see the table, you will understand there are a lot of ICDs over there. So those ICDs can connect to Mundra by rail. And from that region, from Mundra, it will again transship on, it will be loaded on our CIX and transship at Katupalli. So similarly, all ICD connections are there. In the Mumbai region, the ICDs are there. On the bottom left, and Gujarat region, the ICDs are there. So there are 8, 9, 10 ICDs in every locations that are gonna connect to the main gateway port. So basically, this covers whole India. My point here is it covers whole India. The coverage is whole India. You can load Delhi cargo to Santos, or for that matter, Ahmedabad cargo to Parnagua, anything is possible. So this is the network which would be very useful for our audience to understand the hinterlands of India. Yeah. And in addition to that, I would also like to highlight the blockchain, that the block train that we have, not the blockchain, the block train from these ports to Mundra. Sorry, these inland container depots to Mundra. So basically, there are 3 ICDs wherein we operate as our own dedicated trains. So when we have these many TUs, they will just run the train only for HMM. The HMM does not have to wait for others to fill up the cargo or others to fill up the train. So the transit time is reduced because we have a dedicated train going on. So these are the ICDs listed down, partly Ludhiana and Tughlakabad. Tughlakabad is basically Delhi ICD. So these 3 ICDs, we have a dedicated train. So the transit time, you can see the as is and to be transit time, easily there is a gap of 4 to 5 days that is being saved because of this block train. Yeah, so this is how the India network is. And India, we're going to connect whole of India via Katupalli on this service, and we are very hopeful that we'll get a very good response from the trade because of our coverage, because of our transit time, and the service itself, and also of course the brand name HMM. Yeah.
I just would like to complement something, because our new service, as Dr. showed, we can reach all the India regions, right? So when then it's going to be launched, right? So we are expecting that the vessel depart from Katupalli as from December the 3rd. Then 24 days after is going to arrive here in Santos, right? So we are ready. We are more than ready and welcome to receive our customers' requirements, requests. And then as Dev showed it to us, all those connections are really important. Those are the main origins that customers usually ask us, right? So it's something that it's good to explain, to show here in this webinar, because it makes more clear, right? When we see the map and when we see what we are talking about, it's better to realize how the business can be done and then to maybe make the connections in our mind to know who can help with what. So in this case, HMM can help our customers from whole place that mentioned it. And we have fast transit times even in the inland point, right? So that's really good point to be highlighted here, right?
Yes, definitely. And we're talking about something that is ready, right? It's not a possibility. It's a service that is ready. It's starting right now. So that's very, very exciting. And you have already, I was going to ask when it's going to start. You have already shared with us. And I would like to understand a little bit more. Actually, getting one of the questions from our audience here. How is the size of ships and how many TEUs will be offered to the route India-Brazil? Do you already have that data with you? Tatiana or Dov that can answer that one.
Okay.
I was just trying to unmute. Yeah, sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah. Okay. So we have got allocation. I'll just directly come to the allocation because that's what the audience wants to hear rather than what's the vessel size, how many vessels is that. So our allocation, the space what we're gonna offer is close to 1,000 TEUs from India to Brazil, and we gonna cater to all. By 1,000 TEU I mean it is in the range of 1,000 TEUs and covers all of the East Latin ports on our FIR. So and it is from the ports which I have already shown, the inland ICDs and the gateway ports. It is from those ports that I'm talking about. So whole of India to Brazil. So we are certainly in the range of 1,000 TEUs of space per week.
Perfect. Thank you. That's for clarifying. Another question that we have here is that we know there are vessels that are coming from Asia to India and then coming to South Africa on the way to Brazil. Is HMM offering the routes China, India, and India, South Africa as well? Tatiana or Devdat, if you can clarify that.
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
The person here is asking, that we know that there are vessels that are coming from Asia to India and then passing through South Africa on the way to Brazil, right? So is HMM offering the routes China, India, and India, South Africa as well as an integrated route?
Yes, it's part of our service to offer all the routing, all the ports we have in our routing. So if we check the slide of FIL service, we can see all the ports and routings we are able and capable to offer. Yes.
Perfect. And
Natalia, sorry,
yes?
just to add on, if you can go to that map of our service, the very first slide.
The first one, right?
Yeah,
This
first one. Yeah, so it would be easier to understand for the person who has asked. So basically, this service starts from Korea, then dips into China, and then to Singapore, and then it comes to Katupalli. So all the legs are available for loading. Of course, they would have their minimum space and dedicated capacity. So let's say Korea to China is on. China to Singapore is on, Singapore to India is on, China to India, Korea to India. All segments are open, and also of course the Durban call is there. So Katupalli to Durban is still there, and like I said, it's not only Katupalli, whole of India to Durban.
Perfect.
Yeah. So that's how the
Because
network
all
is.
the connections lead to Katupalli.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. And I have a question that would be for all of you, that you can all share your inputs. How is the pandemic scenario affecting time and cost of India and Brazil container transactions? Nowadays, how is exactly pandemic affecting time and cost? Please, Tatiana, if you would like to answer, go ahead.
Okay, from a point of view of pricing, it affects a lot, right? Because we are still checking all the cost and the factors that compose our ocean freight and our product itself, right? So, for example, we have to think about the inflation, considering all the ports we berth, and also the waiting time of the vessel, because we are, as we used to say, vessels are eating bunker. So we also have to consider that. And for example, sometimes the vessel arrives and cannot berth because COVID situation requires us for people to go on board to check circulation, etc., etc. So a part of that and all the facts that we are seeing, every people right around the world in its own life, we are seeing how the COVID is impacting us in terms of costs, right? Then it also impacts our business itself. So we expect that the volumes are still growing, and we know that we have backlog cargo waiting for everybody, and this have a cost, right? So that's how more or less it impacts us.
Thank you. Thank you for explaining a little bit better that topic. And another thing that I would like to ask you, just to go back here on the transit time, we have someone from our audience is asking about the transit time. This is the standard transit time for this service, or is there any variation? It can, it can be perhaps improved in the future. What do you think? Just to explain a little bit more about what do you expect for the transit time? Mr. Devdat or Mrs. Tatiani, please feel free to input on that one.
Yeah, thanks, Natalia. Well, for the transit time, this is the pro forma schedule that we have set, given our number of vessels deployed in this service. The scope to improve is always there. I believe in that. So whenever there are more vessels that come into this service, then definitely the transit time will increase. But we will, like I said, we will enter the market, we'll taste the market first, and then see how where it takes us. What is in it for us, and then we can improve the transit time, or by deploying more number of vessels, or turning around the vessels faster, etc., etc. But as of now, the ports that are there, India, Brazil, Durban, everything, none of the ports have history of very severe congestions. So of course the congestion is going to be there because of the pandemic, like Tatiana has just highlighted, the time and cost factors and everything. But these conditions are not so severe that it will damage the whole transit time scenario of this service. And of course, I would at the same time I would also like to mention that this is a pendulum service. So in pendulum services, there are sometimes hiccups regarding the connectivity, but it has been taken care of with our number of vessels that we have deployed in the service. So transit time is there to stay. Yeah, to answer in one sentence.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. David. And another question that has been raised, and it's not specifically about the service, but I guess it's a concern, it's a general concern. Now that we see the new variant of coronavirus, the Omicron variant, Mr. Mario, I would like to to hear your inputs on that one. Are there any concerns due to the new African Omicron, to the new variant Omicron, for the ships arriving in Brazil nowadays? Do you have any information about that for us?
Well, it's brand new to us. In fact, we heard about this new variant during this week, and according to the information we got yesterday, it seems that Anvisa is imposing now a quarantine time of 14 days for the vessels coming from Durban, calling any South African port. So we are expecting to have this information, official information from Anvisa, in order to advise our principals. But for sure, this will impact.
And sorry to just add, from an HMM point of view, it's important to share that we accomplished with all the rules, right? So maybe at the first moment we have to consider how we are going to treat the Durban ports, the Durban call coming here, and because we have a very good transit time, so might not reach 14 days, then we need to think about it to not make any trouble or cause any issue with our previous cargo. So everything to be analyzed. As Marty mentioned, it is brand new information we received just this week. So it has to be treated carefully, right? For the better result of everybody, many people involved, right?
That's correct. Let's wait and hope for the best, right? And as soon as we'll get past through this. And now with the great news of this new route to service the India-Brazil trade relations. And, it's just, we can only call it auspicious winds ahead for the trade relations between India and Brazil, because we're talking about a new route, new capacity with reduced time and a direct route, which we never had. So we're very happy with all of this. It was a pleasure for us. And now I'm talking about the India-Brazil Chamber of Commerce once we were invited to participate in this event today, because we are talking about a really good news for the India-Brazil trade relations, because a direct route is something that we never experienced before. We have been seeing the raising demand over the more than past 10 years, but it's a reality that India and Brazil are coming closer together, and the interests between Brazilian executives and Indian executives among themselves, to do business is increasing. And now we are getting the means of actually increasing exponentially this trade. So it's very, very nice to hear this news. And for the audience, to get more information, before I thank you everyone for participating, just so you have more information on our speakers here today and how to get more information about the service, to get your quotation and to actually understand how to book the service. Here we have the contacts of Mr. Mario, Mr. Davdet, and Mr. Imaire, who will be able to help you with this and help you to take forward and take advantage of this new service that will be available within a week. So it's ready to be used. So I would like to thank you, everyone. I don't know if you guys have any last words, but before all else, I would like to thank you, everyone, for joining us here today. Thank you for participating, okay? And also thank you, Unimar Group, for the invitation to bring this brand new and this event here today. And thank you all the team of Unimar, HMM, Moody's, Ltda, and the India-Brazil Chamber of Commerce that is behind this event here today. So thank you very much. And please feel free to share your last comments.
I'll start. I would like to thank everybody for watching our webinar, and I would like to thank everybody for inviting me to be here and to show everybody our new product and the solution for our market. We are really happy as H&M company to be able to share this news with our customers, because we really worked hard to do a very good product, and now we are delivering and showing how H&M is thinking out of the box is really good. So thank you everybody, and hope we can make lots of business.
Thank you, Tatiane. Imere, would like to go next?
Yes, please. Thank you. Well, thanks everyone for this audience today. I think it was really fruitful to have the opportunity to share this brand new service with all of you. And as Natalia presented, we are all at your disposal. So please feel free to get in touch with us anytime. We will be more than glad to attend and help you out. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Mare. Mr. Mario, would you like to also?
Sure, it was a big pleasure for me, as I told you, to participate in this important webinar and to talk about this brand new service we are promoting, FIL service, which will be a very, very good solution for all the customers linking India to Brazil. So thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, Mr. Mario.
Thank you, Natalia and India-Brazil Chamber of Commerce, and for hosting this event and inviting me. I am pretty excited to join this webinar and share the information with all the audience about our new service. I'm also pretty excited to have them on board, the customers, and I think I believe that we have offered a solution to the existing problems with introduction of our service. So hope to have your support, and please feel free to contact us anytime, India or Brazil office. We would be more than happy to assist you, and with equal zeal and enthusiasm. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. David. And just a final remark to our audience. Please feel free to follow us on social media. Here are our channels, and I take the opportunity as well to put the India-Brazil Chamber of Commerce at your disposal to help you do a great business with India or with Brazil, if I'm talking to Indians or to Brazilians. So we are here to help you to foment the bilateral relations. So thank you very much, and we'll see you in our next events. Namaste to India and to Brazil. Deico?